have an organization called Sickle Cell Media and Enlightenment Center. It's here in Jos. And we show a program about sickle cell every Saturday on PRTV, 11:30 to 12, and repeat on Tuesdays, 1:30 to 2. And we also share the program on YouTube. So the idea behind talking to people about sickle cell is because we've seen how sickle cell has affected people. And we are seeing parents abandon their children because of sickle cell. It's not something you prepare for. It's not, if any of you has a sibling with sickle cell, you will understand what I'm talking about. If you have a patient in the hospital, what do? You normally spend time in the hospital, right? You go to stay with the person, you sleep over. With sickle cell, you don't have time to stay with the person. You have to stay all through with the person. You have to look after the person, because when you see somebody crying and you can't do anything about it, can you imagine what that does to you psychologically? So all of us sitting here, hope you know your genotype. Because some people think it's when you are getting married that you know your genotype. We are encouraging schools these days that when you are admitting students, charge them to tell you their genotype. You might have a sickle cell patient in your school and you won't know. Till the person breaks down, or something happens and then you don't innocently you're trying to correct the child for discipline, and then the child breaks down and the parent is coming to complain to say, why did you mistreat my child? Even sickle cell patients are disciplined. If somebody does something that is not good, won't you tell the person you're wrong? You tell the person. So the question now is, from what we've listed on the board, you have AA, AS, SS, SC, CC, AC. Now, AA, in this case, I'll clean it with my hand. AA, in the sickle cell community, is tagged with golden genotype. Can marry anybody. Can marry anybody, even the genotype that is not existing yet, can marry the person. So AA can marry AS, can marry SS, can marry SC, AC, CC, SO. Now, in the sickle cell community, we've discovered that SS and SC are genotypes that are regional. So SC are mostly, thank you, SC are mostly within the southwest. We've seen people like Lekon, that one big brother Nigeria. He is SC. So when you saw Gloria, did you know that she has sickle cell? Yeah, but some people feel it shows on the face. It doesn't. So AS now, AS should not marry AS, because if you share 1 to 100, 25 into 100 is what? 4. Exactly. So 1 out of 4 are the chances that a child will have sickle cell in that family, which is 25% risk that 1 out of 4 children, 1 in 4 of 100 will have sickle cell. But people don't understand it like 1 out of 4 children. They now say, okay, the first child will be AA, the second child will be AS, the third child will be... It doesn't work like that. There are firstborns that are AA. There are secondborns that are AA. But there are plenty firstborns that are SS. And that's why we talk to people, students at this level, so that you understand how sickle cell works. Yes, you have biology, but there's also reality out there of how sickle cell works. So AS should not marry AS. It has to be AA. But there are people that decide to risk it, to say, I will marry AS and I will not have children. We adopt, or we risk it. But that risk is a problem, because if you end up having 1 child with sickle cell, it can affect your family, your siblings, your grandparents, and your aunties. Sounds like an exaggeration, right? Yeah. So if, for example, you want to do bone marrow transplant for a child, and you're looking for 110 million, how do you raise the money? You... That what? You put it out there and say, help me with money, right? Is your grandparent not going to donate? Is your auntie not going to donate? Exactly. So, for most sickle cell patients, they take up to 7 drugs for the rest of their lives till they die. Every day. That's without crisis. They take folic acid, they take anti-malaria, they take B-complex, they take painkillers for some of them. They take cod liver for arthritis and the crisis and all that. So these drugs are out there. Some of them even take supplements that have been put in place to help the red blood cell grow. And then there is diet. The person has to eat vegetable and things, a lot of water and fruits, so that the person can stay hydrated and the person can also have blood in the system. So AS cannot marry SS. Should not. We are not encouraging it, as a matter of fact, because yes, the child can come out with AS, but what are the chances? If AS and AS is giving you 25% chance, then AS and SS, that's like pushing the risk and blaming God, right? Because sometimes we just blame God and put a lot of responsibility on God's head and say, oh God, help me. But God has helped you with information. So AS and SC is practically the same this thing that might give rise to A. So if AS and AS is 25% chance, AS and SS is 75% chance that you're going to have a child with SS. Yes. Somebody else ask a question. Okay, so now you have SC and AC. All these ones are the combination that may give rise to a child with sickle cell. And you saw that I wrote thalassemia here. Now, there are people that are AA, but they have crisis. And that's the condition called thalassemia. We test the blood and you see that somebody is A. And the strip is showing you A, but it's showing one A. It's not showing the second A. What happened to the second A? It means it's lost. So normally give example with 100 notes. If you have 1 to 100, sickle cell can take number 32 and put it at 81. Take 41 and put it at 63. That's sickle cell. That's why they call it a disorder. It rearranges the cells. Thalassemia, there is alpha and beta thalassemia, but the dangerous one is the beta. It starts like hepatitis. You have hepatitis A, B, C, right? If someone has hepatitis A, they say do no harm, right? It doesn't show whether the person has issues or not. But when it goes to B, it means it's a problem. When it goes to C, it becomes a condition that can lead to cancer. That's how beta thalassemia works. From alpha, it's okay, it might not be an issue, but it doesn't mean that you might, if you have alpha thalassemia, it can even affect somebody and have sickle cell. But let's look at beta thalassemia. It can wipe from 1 to 100 and the place is empty. Or it can wipe from 20 to 100 and the place is empty from 20 downwards, which means the person cannot marry AS, SS, SC, SO, CC. Because you might end up with a child with sickle cell. So for somebody that doesn't have sickle cell, the cell, do you know how long the cells take to grow? For somebody that doesn't have sickle cell? 120 days. 120 days. Your cell regrows after 120 days, it grows another one. So it regrows like that. Now, for a sickle cell patient, it's 10 to 20 days. So imagine every 10, some of them is 9 days, some of them is 15 days, some of them is 20 days, but the highest we know is 20 days. So imagine that your cell has to regrow every 20 days. Do you know the kind of pressure that puts on the body? That's aside other issues, that may happen to the body, health challenges. So for sickle cell patients, depression is a problem, too much cold is a problem, too much heat is a problem, excitement is a problem. Yes, it puts pressure on the cells, and that's what makes them to break down into crisis. But why we are telling you this is because you may have a friend, you may have a sibling, a cousin, a relative that has sickle cell. you need to know the kind of work involved, and then you need to also avoid a situation that puts you in the position of sickle cell. Some of you will get to a point where you start dating. You know, the girls will say, oh, I want to go out and eat shawarma, pizza and all that. Always ask the genotype of the person you're attracted to. What's your genotype? If the genotype is not compatible, bury it there and then and move on to the next one. If not, see what you will be exposed to. For AS and AS, there are certain things that we say are options. The first option is what we call pre-implantation. Pre-implantation is a process where they take the eggs from the sperm from the man, and when the woman is fertilizing, they take the eggs and they make it into an embryo that turns into a fetus. Then they will now test it. If the child has sickle cell, then they flush it. That procedure is 850,000. Just the test. Then, if the child does not have sickle cell, they now groom the child into a full baby. So the question is, why put yourself through that kind of, it's just like asking, do you have 850,000 you're not using? Then there is another one that is between 9 to 12 weeks of pregnancy. If the woman is pregnant, 9 to 12 weeks, they now insert a needle through the woman's belly. Then they extract a fluid in the belly and test the child and see if the child has sickle cell. Then they flush it if he has sickle cell. Or if he doesn't, they now leave it. That procedure is 450,000. And it can also depress the woman. She can, you know, if you've not been in that position, you will be imagining, oh, it's easy. And for the ladies, you are the receiving end.